Are you ready to witness the ultimate clash between two of the most feared warriors in history? Mongols versus Samurai, the terrifying battles that changed history. Welcome to our channel, where we explore the most significant moments in history and bring them to life for you. Did you know that the Mongol Empire was the largest empire in history? It was made up of more than 22 million square kilometers, making it the biggest empire ever. And the samurai were skilled warriors who lived by the code of Bushido, meaning the way of the warrior. In this video, we'll talk about the terrifying battles between these two forces that shaped the course of history. We'll examine the strategies, weapons, and tactics used by both sides and explore the impact of these battles on the world as we know it today. So buckle up and get ready to travel back in time to witness some of the most epic battles in history. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay up to date on our latest videos. Due to their many victories, Kublai Khan's Mongol warriors were worthy of respect and awe. The vast empire that the 5th Khagan ruled over, which began in Eastern Europe, included the Levant. The Yuan dynasty was created, and China came under his dominion during his reign. He was in charge of an army of fast-mounted archers who were known for their strategies and fake retreats. Even though they were one of the strongest armies at the time, the Mongol hordes were shocking and scary, and the Khan turns his attention to a new prey during the 13th century. Japan was the second country to become a vassal state of the Yuan dynasty across the sea after Korea. It all started after a series of Mongol invasions of Korea between 1231 and 1281. Goryeo signed a pact in support of the Mongols and turned into a vassal state. In 1260, Kublai was named Khagan of the Mongol Empire, and in 1264, he made Khan Balik the center of his empire. After Minamoto Noyori, the shogun of the Kamakura shogunate, passed away in 1203, the shikin of the Hajj clan married into the clan and inherited control from Minamoto Noyori's family through marriage. The Hajj clan's inner circle had become so powerful that they made their decisions in secret meetings in their mansions without consulting the shogunate's council, the imperial court of Kyoto, or their Gokugen vassals. But in 1266, Kublai Khan sent envoys to Japan with the threat of war if Japan didn't become his vassal and pay tribute. And the great Mongol emperor did this because heaven had given him the power to do so. In his letter he wrote, "For a long time it has been important for the leaders of small countries that share borders to talk to each other and make friends. Since my ancestor ruled based on orders from heaven, many countries from far away argued about our power and made fun of us. Goryeo thanked me for stopping the fighting and putting their land and people back together when I took the throne. The way we talk to each other is like father and son. We think you know this already. Goryeo flows into me from the east." Since the beginning of our country, Japan has sometimes sided with Goryeo and sometimes with China. However, Japan has never sent an ambassador since I took the throne. We worry that the kingdom doesn't know this yet. So, we sent out a mission with a letter that made clear what we wanted. From now on, talk to each other in a friendly way. We think that every country is part of the same family. How can we be right if we don't understand this? No one would want to use weapons. Japan chose to ignore this, but in 1267, the ministers of Kublai Khan sent another letter to Goryeo to be sent to Japan. And this time, it was more threatening and insulting. He wrote, "Even though the Japanese were always in touch with China, even though they lived 5,000 kilometers away, they did not follow the tradition of sending annual tribute. Still, the Chinese didn't care in the past. They would be nice to the Japanese if they came, but they wouldn't bother with them if they didn't. The old Chinese policy was that kings' cultures didn't change much when they got tribute, and emperor's status didn't change much when they didn't get tribute. But now, everyone under the sun and moon is his subject because of our wise emperor. You stupid little barbarians. Do you have the courage to defy us by not giving in?" At first, it seemed like he didn't want to send troops to occupy Japan, but the letter ended with a threat if the island state didn't agree to become a vassal. When the letter was given to the imperial court, which was in charge of international relations, the court decided not to answer. The shogunate told the Yuan Mongol envoys in the Quiche city of Dazafu and sent them back home. Still, Kublai kept sending envoys, but the shogunate did not pay attention to them. Why did it not want to make peace with the Yuan dynasty? Arai Takashige, a historian, says, "The leaders of this time knew almost nothing about international affairs and had almost no experience dealing with other countries. Because they didn't know much and hadn't done much, when they saw the letter, they must have just frozen. And because they hadn't done it before, they didn't know how to be diplomatic. Even Kublai Khan's huge army couldn't beat Mother Nature. When I think about the Yuan dynasty's attempts to take over Japan, I always picture a poorly organized samurai army fighting a well-trained Mongol army. They were about to lose if a series of storms hadn't destroyed the Mongol fleet. At that time, it seemed like the gods were on the samurai's side. But the forces of the Yuan dynasty that took over Japan had to deal with more than just the weather. Even before the divine winds came, the samurai forces had already done a lot of damage. The wind played a significant role in the first invasion of the Mongols in Japan in 1274. Kublai Khan, the leader of the Mongols, sent a fleet of ships and soldiers to attack Japan, but the Japanese defenders fought back hard. But the Mongols had the upper hand because their military technology and strategies were better. They had brought along a large number of soldiers, including skilled archers and cavalry. The Mongols also used the element of surprise to take the Japanese defenders by surprise. Despite these advantages, the Mongols faced a major setback due to the wind. A potent typhoon that is now known as the kamikaze or divine wind struck the Mongol ships as they approached the shores of Japan. The typhoon was so strong that it destroyed many of the Mongol ships, causing significant casualties and the loss of supplies. The Japanese people who were fighting off the Mongols saw this as a sign from the gods that they were helping them. Additionally, this incident marked a turning point in Japanese history and inspired the development of the kamikaze, a suicide attack strategy that the Japanese used in later wars. The second invasion began in the spring of 1281 with an armada of around 4,000 Mongol and Korean ships and a force of approximately 140,000 troops. The Mongols landed on the southern island of Kyushu and quickly took over several towns and forts. However, the Japanese defenders gave them much more trouble than they did during the last invasion. Takashige Tsunaga, a samurai warrior, led the Japanese defenders in repelling the Mongol invaders with the help of swords, spears, and archers, among other weapons. Along the coast, the Japanese built fortifications and defensive walls to protect against ship landings. The Mongols had trouble with logistics, like not having enough food and supplies, and couldn't keep up their campaign for long. The Mongols also lost a lot of ground because of bad weather, including a typhoon that hit in August of 1281. The typhoon wiped out a large part of the Mongol fleet and killed a lot of their soldiers. With the help of the storm, the Japanese defenders were able to kill more Mongols and send them back to their ships. A Chinese survivor said that after the typhoon, Commander Fan Wenhu chose the best ships that were still left and left more than 100,000 troops to die. After being stuck on Taka Island for 3 days, the Japanese attacked and took tens of thousands of people. The Japanese killed all the Mongols, Koreans, and North Chinese when they transported them to Hakata. The Mongols eventually left Japan, ending their second attempt to take over the country. When the Mongols tried to take over, they never lost because of dumb luck or bad weather. The legendary wind was terrible on its own, but it wasn't much of a tactical advantage. The Mongol Empire never did better than when they tried to take over Japan. Their army was made up of people from many different countries, and the Japanese defenders were so strong that they fought them to a bloody standstill. And that's a wrap. We hope you enjoyed learning about these epic battles. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.